Have you ever seen a crocodile, mangroves, or a place that gets more rain in its rainy season than Seattle does in a whole year? Today we'll show you on this backcountry boat tour the diverse ecosystem that is the Florida Everglades. This is Magellan.
And this is Greyhound.
Where we make videos about epic road trips, kayaking, hiking, and other outdoor adventures. We started our journey at the Flamingo Marina in Everglades National Park. In addition to the tour we took, there are boat tours out into Florida Bay, as well as kayak rentals. While we waited, we picked up snacks and drinks at the marina store and looked for wildlife. On the bay side of the marina dock, we found a few manatees. Manatee, manatee, look at you, manatee, and you're gone. You really only get a small glimpse because they only resurface for a short time, sometimes just a second. There he is again.
Oh, he kind of looks like a hippopotamus.
We also saw some crocodiles on the other side of the marina. Eventually, we boarded the boat, which was thankfully mostly shaded. We then started to make our way into Wynwood Canal. For those on board who didn't get to see the crocodiles, the boat briefly pulled up to let everyone get a closer look. We learned that if they have their mouths open, it doesn't always mean they're being aggressive. They may just be hot and want the breeze to cool them off. These are buttonwood trees, and the early settlers would burn the wood to make charcoal and sell to the coastal towns. They were great for slow, steady burning for cooking fires. Near the buttonwood tree is the sea grape tree, seen here at the bottom, with its big round flat leaves perfect for shade. We then began to see different types of mangroves, which we learned are not closely related at all.
You can see behind me the mangroves. The Everglades actually contains the largest mangrove ecosystem in the entire Western Hemisphere.
What makes something a mangrove is actually its tolerance to salt. The black mangrove, when burned, is a natural mosquito repellent. This is a Brazilian pepper tree, which is an invasive species. Originally imported as an ornamental shrub for Christmas, its berries were carried away by birds and now thrive in the Everglades. Despite many attempts to remove them by cutting or burning, they always seem to grow back. Here's another crocodile just chillin'. Here we learn that the bumps on their backs are called scutes and help absorb heat from the sun. We also learned that you might see something called a crocolog, which is a log that looks like a crocodile. From here, we could see Bear Lake Road, which leads to Bear Lake to the west. We also saw red mangroves on both sides, which have arched roots and contain tannins, just like red wine, tea, and coffee. If you look at the water, it's much darker because of those tannins. At this point, our boat sped up through the channel to show us the next area. We briefly slowed in a no-wake zone and checked out a pier for kayaks and canoes. And shortly thereafter saw some folks paddling. Otherwise, it was time to head out into Coot Bay. If you have a Florida fishing license, you're allowed to fish here. There's tarpon, redfish, mangrove snappers, and tons more. You can see dolphins here too, but we didn't see any. Here we are entering Tarpon Creek. Unlike Buttonwood Canal, which is man-made, this is a natural waterway.
A lot of people think of the Everglades as a swamp, but as you can see from behind me, the water is definitely flowing.
It's because there is water flowing throughout the entire park, with fresh water coming from the north and the salt water pushing up from the tides in the south. Hence why alligators and crocodiles can coexist here in the brackish water. Also a crazy fact, the rainy season in the Everglades receives more rain than Seattle, Washington does in an entire year.
The Everglades is the largest tropical wilderness in the U.S. and the largest wilderness east of the Mississippi.
Right as we entered the next area, Whitewater Bay, we spotted an anhinga bird. There's a trail near the Royal Palm Visitor Center called the Anhinga Trail, where you can spot them too. This is Whitewater Bay, the second largest inland body of water in Florida, Lake Okeechobee being the largest. Most of the fish in the Gulf of Mexico actually begin their lives here in this estuary. We then proceeded back through the bays and canals back to Flamingo Marina. All in all, a great primer before we visited the rest of the park. Have you been to the Everglades? Let us know in the comments. Otherwise, see you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile. We'll see you on the trails or in the water.